Guys, today we're detailing this 4.8 IS X5, but we're doing something a bit different today. Guys, check it out. Yo, what's up guys? My name's Braden. I'm typically the guy behind the camera, but today I'm gonna be behind the polisher. This is an X5 4.8 IS, which is honestly probably the first X5M. It's pretty old. It's got 250,000 Ks on it and plenty of scratches. So today we're gonna dig into it, get off all the leftover dirt and residue. It has been washed, but it needs a clay bar. So let's get into that first, eh? All right, but first we need to check out what's currently wrong with the car. These headlights are in really bad condition. They're super frosted. There's this layer of sort of embedded dirt in there. We're gonna sand these, polish them, and seal them to factory standards. And whilst the camera's here, you can see around these window washer jets, headlight washer jets, there's a lot of dirt here. When you have dirt like this, you clay bar it. It's very easy and quick to get it off. The trick is just to use a lot of soap. For example, like multi-star. I'll always use that when I'm clay barring. It's the bomb. All right, let's move on. All right, guys, so as you can see, these grills are factory silver, not black or anything like they traditionally are, but the paint is flaking off. So we're gonna sand these down and respray those back to the OEM color. And there's this surrounding kind of garnish trim. We'll polish this up too, because that's pretty aged. But there's these two front kidneys, and then there's two vents on the hood. We're gonna repaint all of those and make it look Mickey Mouse. All right, guys, as you can see, we've got some rust on this hood. So we're gonna polish this car, then we're gonna come back and touch it up with a matched color so that we can pretty much minimize the eyesore. All right, guys, so this car comes with the shadow trim. Probably had a wash with some kind of acidic cleaner all over its lifetime. So we're gonna polish these back as well, and they'll be mint. We'll ceramic coat those too, just to get it looking brand new. All right, guys, so this is pretty common on older cars. You get this super weathered, faded plastic. So we're going to permanently restore that by putting our ceramic coating on there, because it's super safe on plastics and it gets them to bead and gloss up really nice as well. So this will all be a nice sheen, kind of satin black again. All right, guys, so an interesting fact is this car is worth a bit of money, around $15,000 today. Not what it once sold for brand new, but an interesting thing is the wheels. These are genuine Alpina wheels, which are also worth 15K. So it's pretty crazy, but what a beautiful set of wheels. We're going to ceramic coat these as well, just to get them looking brand spanking new. All right, guys, so last but not least, we're obviously going to be doing a paint correction on this car prior to the ceramic coating. I prefer to use polishes that don't have any silicone or fillers, just so I get a genuine result at the end. So I'll be using Ultimate Cut to do a full cut, and then Perfect Finish to get the most gloss out of this paint. All right, guys, so I'm going to use clear glass and Sonax clay bar to decontaminate this paintwork here. This has actually a lot of lubrication to it, which is awesome. So we always flick it on, get ourselves a few nice sprays. Then let's go for it, eh? Always try and do it in a straight motion just to minimize additional swells. It's still a good practice to avoid adding more damage than we need to. All right, guys, to dry this off, I'm just gonna use our new drying towel. This thing's wicked. Alright, guys, so we've finished clay barring the entire car now. Got everything out of this paint. There was a lot of contaminants. Anyway, we're going to move on to the cutting now. So as you can see, we've removed the kidney grills, the vents, the wiper arms, all to be resprayed. We don't normally do that. We've just done it now to make it a bit easier for the cutting. So we're going to start off with this rotary with a lamb's wool pad and Sonax Ultimate Cut. This is a machine cutting, absolute beast. Anyway, let's prime this pad, start tackling this hood, and then we'll knock it back with a DA to get rid of the holograms. All right, guys, so I've done a low speed pass over this whole area, just half the hood for now. Now I'm going to up the speed a bit to what this is recommended to, so 1200 RPM, and I'm going to really work the polish now. Alright, guys, so now that we've cut the entire vehicle, we're going to be using Perfect Finish on a free spinning DA with a medium pad to now knock out any potential holograms that are left and to get the most gloss out of this paint. All right guys, so we're now going to be restoring this headlight, and as you can see, or maybe not see, it's pretty bonkered. If you're here with me right now, you'd see it's super faded and hazy. So we're going to be using the Sonax headlight restoration kit. Now this kit is enough for 10 sets of headlights or 20 individual headlights, if you may. So to start off with, we're very simply going to be just taping off the area which could be affected by sanding. So in our scenario, the hood is raised, so I'm not going to be taping off here, but I will tape off this entire area. So I've taped off the areas that could be affected. So I'm going to start off with 1,000 grit sandpaper, then I'm going to move to 2,000. It's really important to note, we want to wet sand this with some sort of soapy solution. So I'm just using Multi-Star in this pressure spray here. Basically give it a bit of a spritz like that. And then we're going to start going in straight motions to get off all of the residue. And then we'll move to our finer 2,000 grit sanding block to actually remove all the scratches made from this 1,000. And I just want to make a quick note. I've done this a fair few times now, actually. It's not my first headlight resto, but I have made the mistake of not actually sanding the headlight enough and getting all of the residue off. Now, if that happens and you don't sand it enough, basically this faded sort of look can come back pretty quick, and you'll know that you haven't, sanded it properly. And yeah, it's easy fix, you just do it again. But it's a good thing to note anyway, because I was a bit confused at first and then it all made sense. All right, so if you guys are like me and you've got a 3-inch polisher, you can actually use that to sand down the headlight and yeah, get a faster result with that 3-inch punisher. All right, let's go. All right guys, so we've just finished up with the 1,000. We're now going to move on to the 2,000 and take out all the sanding marks left behind, so we have a super smooth surface and we can move on to the polishing. All right guys, so this is prime for polishing now. I'm going to use the Sonax headlight polish, which is specifically developed for polycarbonate lenses. You do get a wool pad with this polishing ball. This is fantastic if you want to do it by hand. However, I do have a machine available, so I am going to save myself the elbow grease and just use the machine. But I still, of course, will be using this polish and the same pad. It's just already used on my machine, so I'm not going to swap that over yet. All right, so let's polish this up. You do want to prime your pad a little bit with a couple extra drops of compound before we start to buff the headlights. And you really want to make sure that you polish this very thoroughly so that you get every single scratch out of there and absolutely get this thing glossy. All right guys, so we've just buffed over it one more time, and I must say it looks pretty magnificent now compared to what it did. So in order to properly restore headlights, you need to apply a sealant at the end. So in the kit is sufficient sealant for the headlights, all of them. Now, the way to use it is you get this packet, and it's actually designed for 2 headlights. So we're going to use half for one headlight and then the other half, of course, for the next one. So in the kit as well, we get a 15 pack of these polishing cloths. So this is what we're going to use to apply it and buff it off. So let's just rip open this packet and then we'll get into it. All right, so I've applied the headlight coating to this cloth here. We're just going to go over it. Now, I like to do this as if I'm doing a ceramic coating, and I'm basically just going to do it first a bit of a spread, and then I'll go horizontally back and forth just to make sure we get everything, and then we'll go up and down over the entire surface as well. And lastly, I'll just take a clean microfiber towel and remove anything else. This is how we do a proper headlight resto that lasts for a super long time. So we're now moving on to the shadow trim, and as you can see, this is the result of corrosive cleaners, coatings, all that sort of stuff. So to fix this and get it back to that deep glossy black again, we're going to be using the PXE machine with a hybrid wool pad and some ultimate cut on there, just to first level out the surface and remove the oxidization, corrosion, whatever. And then we'll move on to a softer pad and perfect finish it. So let's give this a first pass with the cutter and see how we go. Let's take a look at the results in this area. That's significantly better. Now we'll move on to perfect finish just to achieve the most gloss out of this. All right guys, so just from the 2 simple steps, we have literally what looks like a brand new trim now. So if you need to do this in your car, it's been washed with some harsh chemicals, whatever, this is the process I would recommend. It works awesome. And even this rubber next to it, like, that just looks wicked. All right guys, it is the next day, and last night I took home the grills, gave them a fresh coat of paint, polished up the chrome, and well, they look pretty good. So we're gonna chuck these in, then we're going to move on to doing the ceramic coating. So for that, we're gonna be using CC1, which is a super easy coating to apply. Had it on my own car for months now, and the thing is insane. We'll also be doing all the plastic trims, so we're gonna show you how we prepare those in order to do that mint. So let's jump into it. Let's go. So we're now going to be moving on to ceramic coating this vehicle. And for that, we're going to use Sonax CC1. This is a wicked coating. So this is actually a 50ml bottle, which means you get 2 cars out of this. There's 4 applicators. So the trick is to change applicators halfway through the vehicle because they start to harden. So this is a super easy coating to put on. That's why we love it. Gives you a crazy gloss, insane slickness. Do not lean on your car, you will end up on the ground. And the awesome thing is, rims, trims, glass, paint, seal it all. Super easy. The flash time is between 3 to 5 minutes. Just depends on the weather. You've kind of got to be the determiner of that because the humidity and everything changes that completely. But that being said, worst case scenario, hot day, you leave it for a couple minutes. Doesn't matter, you can still easily level the coating. It's very simple to do. So we're now going to prepare the entire car, which is just simply like an isopropyl alcohol wipe to decontaminate the surface from any contaminants or polish residue that might be left. Then we're gonna move on to coating the car. Feel free to drop your most favorite detail in the comments. Tell us about it. For us, it was probably this BMW 8 Series we did a while ago. Just had insane oxidization all over the paint, cut it back, ceramic coated it. That looked wild. So if you want to see a cool transformation, go check out that video. All right guys, so to begin with the ceramic coating process, we're going to wipe down the paint surface. So we use Profiline Prepare, which is basically a mixture of paint safe solvents and alcohol. Obviously you could use like an IPA and water wipe if you want. It just depends on how your paint's going to react with that. We know that this works for every paint type. So you basically, away from the vehicle, want to give your clean cloth a nice spray and just wipe down all the panels. This will leave it squeaky clean so that the coating bonds immaculately. So very simple, just wipe it down and this gets us out of trouble. All right guys, so the trick would be to repeat that process you just saw over the entire car. Just quickly run it all over there so you can make sure you're gonna have no residues on there. The nice thing is with the Sonax polishes is there's no silicons, no fillers, nothing that's gonna prevent this coating from bonding as is, but I would still heavily recommend doing an IPA wipe or prepare wipe down. If you're using another set of polishes to correct the paint before applying a coating, you just gotta be really careful they don't have any silicone in there because that will totally ruin your coating job. It will not make it last. All right guys, so as you can see here, I've got a brand new applicator pad. There's 4 of these in the box you get. So before we use this, we wanna just add about 8 to 10 drops of coating. So that's a little bit extra, but it's actually gonna dwell in this foam piece here. It acts as a fluid reservoir, and this just primes it so it glides nicely. You're gonna have the material when you need it. So we'll start off by doing that. So I'm gonna prime this pad here. I'm gonna do that away from the vehicle. But I just wanna say, we work in half bonnets at a time with CC1. It's a 3 to 5 minute flash, just to double ensure that. And the curing time, so once you've coated the entire vehicle, is 4 hours, and you cannot wash the vehicle for 1 week. All right guys, so that's roughly what a primed applicator looks like. So to begin, we're going to work in a cross hatch motion. So going vertical one way and horizontal over the same area. Just gonna demo it in this sort of smaller area for now. This is so easy. Like seriously, if you can butter toast, you can slap this guy on, no worries at all. All right guys, after 3 to 5 minutes and the coating's flashed, we'll now level the coating. This is really easy with this coating. So my suggestion is quarter your towels. So if you do need to flip to a dry side, it's very easy, but very simply, just do a nice wipe off. Kind of light pressure, you really don't need to buff it off as hard as you can. We still want to keep it on there. Just be thorough with this, and look, you're probably gonna have to move the vehicle into different lighting afterwards just to double check that you've absolutely leveled off everything. Luckily, this particular coating is super easy to fix anything like that. No need to get the sandpaper out. Guys, and if you follow this exact procedure, you can ceramic coat your car in no time and it will look $1,000,000. All right guys, so 9 times out of 10, we'd normally just slap a coating over this plastic, but in this scenario, the plastic's pretty faded and weathered, so we're gonna permanently restore these back to new. So, I don't know about you, but I know from myself that, you know, those late nights checking out, I don't know, Amazon or eBay, YouTube, looking for that next detailing product that you just wanna find. Well, for me, I found it. It's this guy. It's simply the cheapest thing I've ever seen for detailing, but I would not be detailing without this anymore. So I'm gonna use this sort of like a magic sponge type thing to, it's mildly abrasive, so that really helps, to actually soap this down with our APC, and that'll get rid of all the crud in here and just gently scrub it clean. Then we can coat it. So I'll show you how it works now. All right guys, so let's just spray this down and a little bit into the dirt eraser itself. And to be honest, a lot of cars nowadays are built from a lot of plastic. So having tips and tricks to restore it, make it look good, never hurts. It's a very unique tool because it's very safe, but also has enough abrasive power in it to actually get the job done. So pretty cool. I know it seems super simple. I think a lot of people don't know about this. It's super underrated, but yeah, what a wicked tool.
The moon is full and makes a perfect night. So come along and close the door, 'cause tonight is the night that we've been waiting for. Gonna take you for a drive in my brand new ride.
All right guys, it's the moment we've all been waiting for. The X5 is done. Let's take a look at it.